Hey folks, Randy here with Doing Cut and Trim. So I know it's been a little while since last time I posted a video, but honestly, man, it's because it's been really busy. Busiest I've been in a couple months. And so I figured I'd give you a little update of what's going on. Leaf removals for me have really kind of exploded here. As we stand now, I'm recording this on a Thursday, and there's still another week or so left in November after this week. As it stands now, I've done, I don't know, I think right around 10 times what I normally do in leaf removals for the month of November. And it's just, it's just, I've been busy. And, like normally when I record videos, it's like I'm recording them in between, like in drives between lawns. But, leaf removals, you only do a couple a day. And so there's not as much driving going on, and they've been close together, and it's been busy. And so that's why, the videos haven't been coming. I've recorded some stuff, but it hasn't been posted because it's like actually got to be edited. I'm going to try, not going to try, I'm trying. I'm going to start posting videos where there's actually some editing involved. I've been learning a lot about leaf removals this year. Honestly, it's been a great educational experience, and I want to talk to you guys about it, but I actually want to do a good job talking to you about it. So I've been recording some footage, and I actually am planning on having a sit down with a guy that I've been partnering with, so that he and I can discuss some of the things we've been doing on camera. So I do have good intentions and plans going forward, but it's just been really busy, man. I've been really blessed. This past October is the worst October I've had since I started my business. The revenue was, last year, what we made about 50% of what we made the previous year, but it was literally the worst October I've had since I went full time. It was really bad. But that's been followed up with this November, which, thank God, this November, I've made more this November than I have all the previous Novembers combined. And so I'm really grateful for that, man. God's definitely been keeping his hand on the business, because, October wasn't fun. And November's just been hard, which is great. So, I just wanted to let you guys know what's going on with that. Also, I wanted to give you guys a book recommendation. I can't believe I'm just now reading this book for the first time, but EntreLeadership by Dave Ramsey has become my favorite business book that I've ever read. And when I say read, I mean, like audiobook. I've got certain books that I read usually like once a year, like the E-Myth Landscaper edition, the E-Myth just the regular edition. I try to read Simon Sinek's Start With Why. I try and read it every year. Usually it works out to be every other year. Scrum is a really good one. I can't remember who wrote that. But these are books that I try and read often. And this EntreLeadership book by Dave Ramsey, man, I read it all the way through and immediately started it again. And so I've owned the book for, I guess, 5 days now, and I've read it. I'm almost through my second reading. It is a good book, man. I really wish I had realized what that book was, because I've known about the book, but I thought, based on the title, I thought it was a leadership book. I thought it was a book about how to lead a team of people using Dave Ramsey's methods. And it was like, well, that's great, but I don't really have a team, per se. And so I was just kind of like, eh. But then I listened to the EntreLeadership podcast, and they had an interview with Dave on there. And at one point he says, the blueprint for how we did everything is in my book, EntreLeadership. And I was like, really? So I gave it a try, and like, goodness gracious, it is a good book, man. Highly, highly recommend you read it. I guess while we're talking about books, you know what else is a good book to read? Not a good author in my, I'll explain. Grant Cardone's The 10X Rule is a fantastic book, in my opinion. But I don't think you should read anything else from him. He's obviously been a very successful guy, and I'm not going to knock him or anything, but I personally don't like his business philosophies. I'm not going to get into all that, but 10X Rule is a really good mindset shifting book that really kind of, it was really beneficial for me when I read it. Another really good book that I read, well, I've owned it for a couple years and I've read it twice, so I'm not sure if that's, every other year, but Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink, also really good book. And that's also a real mindset type of book. Like, he taking ownership of everything. I'm not getting into book reviews here. I'm just saying, if you haven't read it, you should read it. I can't think of anything else along those lines. Oh man, this guy's got 2 old school Bobcats. They might even be Lescos. That's cool. But yeah, those are some really good books to read if if you're interested. So, I don't know. Actually, you know what? Now that I'm talking, I got another thing I wanted to talk about. So, I'm going to go ahead and end this video now and hit record on this next one so I can get this thought out there. So, this is Randy with Doolin Cut and Trim. This is what's been going on. Have a good one.